In this video, we're going to have a look at using a staging plugin with Oxygen Builder. So just to show you, we have a standard install with the Atomic theme plugin. So everything works as it should, pretty much standard, nothing adapted, nothing changed, everything as it should be. Then if we're going to have a look at the plugins installed, so we know that Oxygen's installed and working standard. Then we have two plugins installed, the WPvivid Plugins Pro and the staging component of that plugin. So with that installed, I'm now going to head over to the staging plugin, and I'm now going to create a staging site, and I'm going to call that Oxy Staging, and we'll just prefix the tables also Oxy Staging, and I will just call this Oxy Staging as well. So there we have, we've set it up, and now we want to create the staging site. So we say OK, and now you'll see that the plugin will set up the staging site, and you'll be able to see here in this little log file what the plugin's busy doing, and also to measure the progress. So we're just going to wait for that to finish. It's pretty quick on a basic site where you don't have a lot of content. With that uploaded, now what I'm going to do is go and visit the staging site. So here you can see we have the URLs. So I'm just going to right click on that, open it in a new tab, and you'll see that I'll be asked to log in. And you'll also see here that we're now in the Oxy Staging folder. So I'm going to log in there with the same details as the main site. And once I've logged in, you'll see this orange band across the top, just letting me know that I'm now in a staging environment. So without any more delays, let's head over to our templates. And you can see that here we have the templates for our Oxygen site. And if I head over to the website, you'll see the standard layout. So the first thing that I want to do is introduce a home page when I'm in the root. So to do that, we'll head over to Settings, Reading. I'm going to set the home page to a static page. Going to set that to home. We're going to save those changes. And now when we go to the home page, you'll see now that we have this design set in place. And maybe what I want to do is just make some edits here to the home page. So I'm going to edit with Oxygen. So Oxygen loading generally a little bit faster than before. And this being the first time it's opening, sometimes takes a little bit longer. So here I am in the home page, and now I want to make some changes. So let's do something quite different. First thing I'll do then is I'm going to head over to the library, and we're going to head over to design sets, and I'm going to select some content from a completely different design set. So here at the top, maybe what I want to do is introduce this as the top section, and I'm going to remove that one. So we'll have that, and maybe I want to change up a few other things. Let's add in, this tab section also looks good. So there we have the tab section. Let's go to our structure, and let's just change the sequence, and there we have the tab section. Let's save those changes, and let's head over to the front end, and we'll just have a look at those. So there we have the tab section working, and at the top we have that new hero section. And then what I'm going to do is scroll down a little bit, and then maybe towards the bottom, let's take that one out, let's remove that one, and I'll just add in some other content. And I'm going to actually switch it up. I'm going to go to a different, let's head over to freelance. And then what I'm going to do is just introduce the darker content element like that towards the bottom. So there we've made those changes. And the other thing that I want to do is actually make some changes in the header. So let's just do that. So now I'm going to go back to the admin. I'm going to head back to Oxygen, off to templates, and then go to the main template. What I'm also going to do now is make a menu. So we'll head over to menus, within WordPress. And what we're going to do is let's create a main menu. And we'll just add a few things like a product tour, some pricing, our services, our products, and a contact. So let's add that to the menu. So maybe what we'll do, product tour. Right, so we'll just move the sequence around there and we'll save that. So with that menu saved, what we're going to do now is head back to Oxygen and we're going to mix up the menu. So to do that, I just need to refresh Oxygen here. I'm going to close that tab. So Oxygen reloading, and that's just so that we can select that menu item that we've created inside WordPress. So Oxygen loaded, going to head over here, and the first thing I'm going to do then is delete that menu that's there. Or I don't need to, it's already selected the main menu that I created. And what I will do though is remove that text link. So, right, so there we have a nice menu. And something else that I want to do is maybe just change some of the styling. So let's get rid of that. We have a range of colors now to choose from. So let's make the active text color pink. Let's make the hover background the black color. Right, so there we have the new colors for our menu. And I'm going to save that. And then I'm just going to look at that on the front end, make sure everything's working. So if I go to our products, there we have the change in the color. And then, so there we have our website. And now you'll see that what's actually happened is that when I click on the atomic logo, it takes me back to the Oxygen website, which is what I don't want to happen. And that's because we haven't set up the same settings yet for the home page. So the default is not going to be the correct default. So let's just go back into Oxygen. And now what I want to do is just copy that staging site to live. And that's also going to copy the WordPress settings across that we made. So here we have our products, product tour. So everything working nicely here. And there is a bit of a conflict here when we go to the home page. And that's because the URL here is hard-coded to it won't show the staging homepage, but it's actually going to show the Oxygen homepage. But what we're going to do now is just copy the site over. So you see that after selecting copy the site over, we also have a log here that runs. We don't see any slider to show us the progress, but generally it's quite quick. And once that's copied across, we can go and have a look at the website and you'll see that the changes would have been applied. So we're just waiting for that to finish. And then here we can have a look at what the home page would look like then with our changes. So that's the new home page that we've created. And the dark section here, the lighter sections at the top. This should be nearly done. Right, once it's done, you'll see this message at the top of the page and simply click on OK. And then what I'm going to do is open the website here and you'll see immediately our changes have been applied and everything looks the way it should be. Let's check the navigation. So yes, it's brought in that menu item, it's copied it across, and yes, the menu is working in the same way. So there we can see that the changes made in staging have been brought across to the live website. Now we might want to make some more changes, and what I'm going to do is actually include some plugins. So we're going to head over here and I'm going to add in the Fluent form plugin. So we'll install that. And maybe what we're also going to do then is also install an Oxygen related plugin, for example, OxyExtras. So I'm just waiting for this to load up. Right, and we'll activate that. And then what we'll do is we'll just head over to Fluent Forms, and we're going to now go and just get the shortcode for a form. So we'll get copy to clipboard already. And then what I'm going to do is edit this page, or no, maybe I'll head over to my contact page and we're going to drop in the form. So edit with Oxygen. Once Oxygen's loaded, then we'll drop in the form. Right, so here we have the area for the form, and what I'm going to do then is delete all that content, and then I'm going to add the Fluent Forms, and right, so with the new integration, you don't actually need to copy the plugin, the shortcode, and I actually want a full form, and here maybe something along those lines. And then I think what I'll also do is just give that div some rounded corners. That looks a bit better. Save that. And then let's have a look at that on the front end. So there we have it. There we have our Fluent form installed. Right, so that's looking good. And now we're going to add in the OxyExtras. So here I am in the staging area, and I'll head over to plugins. I'm going to add a new plugin, upload, and let's go to my OxyExtras, open that up, and install. So we're installing the latest version of OxyExtras. We'll activate the plugin. And then in order to get that work, we need to just upload the extras components to the website. So need to do a quick update there. So to do that, I'm going to head over to OxyExtras, and we need to install the license. And what I'm going to do is just enable a couple of things. So from the bottom here, let's do some social share, maybe a progress bar, accordion. Yeah, let's have a look at a lightbox, and let's have a look. Dynamic counters, copyright here. A back to top. Right, so we just do a couple of things like that. We're going to save those changes. Now what I'm going to do is head back to Oxygen. So let's go back to the templates. And then what I'm going to do is head over to the main, edit with Oxygen, and now I'm going to do a scroll to top. So we're just installing Oxygen loaded, scroll down to the bottom and activate. Now what I'm going to do is add the scroll to top. So we'll head down to extras and we'll look for our back to top button. So we'll install that, and then just very quickly we'll say only visible after scrolling to 100. Let's just give that a bit of a style. So we're going to add a background color. We'll do something like that, and then we'll change the text color. So text color to white, and then we need some spacing. So let's just make that, and that should be fine. And then what I'm going to do is just go to the border. Let's give it a radius, and there we have our back to top, and that should be working very nicely. And then what I'll do is under this Oxygen button, I'm just going to add the copyright and year. So there we have the copyright and year, and I'm just going to change the color of the text. So well, let's do it something like that. Okay, so we've added that. What else can we add here in the footer? Right, and what we could do then is also maybe just add a circular progress item. So there's our circular progress, and we'll just leave it at that and leave that quite standard. So there we've added a few items into the footer. Right, so let's save that. And now let's move all that back to the main live site. So now what I'm going to do is copy the staging site to live again. So we'll do files and the database. And we're copying that across. So while that's copying, best not to make any additional changes. It'll take a minute or two to finish copying across. So just to have a look at that on the front end then, let's have a look here at our Oxy staging. And if I scroll down, you'll see there is our counter and there is our copyright. And if I click here, I've got my back to top. So quite a few changes made then to the home page. Let's see how we're doing here. We can close that. Still copying the staging to live. Alright, so that's all completed. We'll say OK, and now what I'm going to do is head over to the website and see what we've got. So there we have the other changes are still in place. We're going to scroll down, and there we have the counter, support, copyright, everything working. Back to top, let's go to the contact page. Contact page, there we have the Fluent form installed, counters working. So right, so that basic install of OxyExtras then worked as it should. So no problem there. And now what we might want to do is do something a little bit bigger. So I'm going to head out of Oxygen here. And let's say that we wanted to do something more substantial. And maybe what we wanted to do was add a WooCommerce shop now. So let's try something much bigger than just... So we've got the basic site in place. And now we're going to set up a shop. So we're going to get that WooCommerce plugin. Let's install that. Right, let's activate the WooCommerce. And then what we're going to do is just import some of the default standard products. And we will just use those as the products for the install. So just give that a second to activate. Right, so that activated. I'm going to skip the setup of the store details. We won't participate in any programs here. And so there we are. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to products. And I'm going to import the products. So we'll say start import, choose file. If you want to know where the demo product files are, they're pretty much easy to find. What you do is you go to your WooCommerce folder. So in WooCommerce, and you look for sample data. And in our case, we're just going to import the sample products CSV. Open that, continue, and that's going to import the products. We don't have to worry about any mapping because it's all default, and we simply run the importer. And now WooCommerce will import the demo products. So there we have the products imported, view products, and let's go to the front end of the website and have a look at them. And there we have our products, right? It's using the template from posts, but that's okay because we don't have Oxygen, WooCommerce for Oxygen installed. And now what I'm going to do is head back to Oxygen, and what I'm going to do is head over to plugins, and we'll add a new one, and then let's install the Oxygen WooCommerce, and we only have that one. So we'll install the plugin, activate the plugin. That can get an update. Right, so while that's busy doing, I'm going to head over to Appearance. And then what I'm going to do now is in my menus, I'm going to add the shop. So there's the shop page, add to menu, and I'm going to add that to the top. We're going to save that menu. And when we refresh here now, you'll see that the shop has been included in our navigation. So there's our shop. And that's just with the default template in Oxygen. What we can do is, instead of using the recent posts, let's just change that. So that updated. Now I'm going to head over to Oxygen. And what we'll do is we'll just make a WooCommerce template. We don't have to, as it is showing, but let's just call it main shop, and we'll inherit the main archive. We're going to go post type, and we're going to make this product, and then taxonomies will be all product types, all product categories, and we'll publish that. Then we'll edit with Oxygen. Right, that done. Let's add a section, and in that section we will now add WooCommerce, and it'll be a product list. And there's our product list, and I'm going to save that. And now we'll head over to our shop. So let's head over to Oxygen and just change the template priority there by 1. And then that should take care of the shop. Right, there we have it. So there's our shop. So we've installed WooCommerce, we've installed the WooCommerce plugin for Oxygen. We've only done it for the shop. If we go to the product page, there'll be nothing to see. So maybe what we should do is then just quickly do a template for a single page. And then we've pretty much created a single product, a bit of a shop, and let's just see how that translates then back from staging to live. And we'll edit that with Oxygen. And we'll just wait patiently for Oxygen to load again. Right, Oxygen loaded. Let's add a section. And let's add WooCommerce product builder. And there we have our standard product builder. I'm not even going to bother to go through this and look for something to add to the page. It's all very confusing and not in any particular order, so we'll save that. We'll just go and view the page. So if this happens to you, once again, you go along and you see that your template isn't applied, then simply just head back to Oxygen, head back to templates, and that single product template that we created, we just change that template priority to 1. And then we go back to the site, and now when we click on shop and we go to product, you will see that everything displays as it should. So there we have a basic setup for our shop. And I think it's time now to copy this across to the live site and see how that translates. So here we are back in our staging section, and you'll see the only buttons I'm using here, or menu, is copy staging to live, files plus DV, yes, and let's copy the whole site across. So what I'm going to do is close that. I don't need that. I don't need that. And this is the staging site shop. So we're just going to leave that open, but everything is working as it should. I haven't completed the add to basket or add to cart. So when we click on those, chances are it's using the default template from WordPress. So that's fine, or from WooCommerce, and proceed to checkout. So we have a pretty much functioning shopping site on staging. So here we are, we're back here at just copying the staging site to live. Right, so copied across, let's OK it, and now we're going to go and have a look at the website. So open in the new tab. So the home page, that looks pretty normal. Let's have a look at the shop. So we head over to the shop, and there we have the shop with the template as it should be. And I'm going to go and have a look at a product. Works straight away, nothing that I need to do. And add to cart, view cart, proceed to checkout. Right, so it looks as though everything works as it should, straight out the box, moving from staging to live. So it does look as though the new version of Oxygen is going to support staging and live sites, and in this case we've used the WPvivid plugin. Right, well that's just an introduction. I'm sure there's a lot more complex things that you'd like to do, but it looks like anything created with Oxygen is going to be valid and move across. But